Consider my wind chimes that I pointed out with one of my videos. Wind chimes also, there's something about them that helps evil to fail. So it's worth having in your home or outside your home, in your yard. Wind chimes. There's something about them that helps evil to fail. Likewise, there's something about reading stories and talking about them. Whether it's, just in person, like at the library, we have story reading hour, or wherever, or you can even use a tablet, that you write on with your finger, okay? You can even use your tablet to read stories and to talk about stories, and there's something about it that helps evil to fail, okay? Okay. All right, so we can see. Okay, are your formal meetings disappearing? This isn't just a Refuge of Hope shelter. I've also was a member of Step Up. I yet am a member of Step Up in Santa Monica, California. It's a lifelong membership once you become a member, okay? No matter where you relocate, you're yet a member, okay? And I've also been at a few other shelters and homeless recovery programs, and also programs for mental health. And formal meetings have been disappearing. This has been my observation all these years, that things disappear. They flux and change. Okay? All right. Are your formal meetings disappearing? We can see a few of your formal meetings have disappeared. Consider that avoiding exploitation is in your favor. There's a need that you have, because also if you are there working at a shelter or at a housing program or a mental health program, you also have a need to avoid being exploited. If you're undermined, see, we no longer have interns here to do these things. Am I overburdened with with what we need to do now? See, you yourself also have a need to avoid exploitation, and that also means that you need to also help the residents not to be exploited, okay? Or what? There's something that we need to do because of it, okay? So consider that avoiding exploitation is in your favor. The objective of avoiding exploitation is naturally a part of each career here at the shelter. It is very important to have this in perspective, even the kitchen staff. If you're failing to acknowledge that every homeless person is a refugee, whether they are in a shelter or not, you are slipping. A turkey sitting on your head. Each one of them is a refugee that has been undermined and needs to recover. We need to find a way so that we're not asking the residents to do the dishes. Okay, did someone really sneaky arrive to work and undermine it? Okay, it could be a turkey has got you. It is very good to consider the different kinds of refugee categories there are. There are political refugees, there are economical refugees, and even others. You yourselves have had formal meetings, and you were deadlocked. You disappeared. Your lives resumed as if you never had these meetings. See, I even talked about these meetings with people, and they don't seem to remember. Okay? You yourselves... Okay, I am bringing this to your attention with this letter. And once again, this line had been cut off. Please take time to meditate about this. Please spend time meditating about this. Okay. All right. Here's a woman holding an umbrella that used to be this size and now is this size. I notice that my job has fluxed and changed. How did my career umbrella change? I used to do several other administrative things, and now it seems to be clerical. You need to do what is good for you. things that are good for you are good for you. When the student interns that were here disappeared and gradually we did not even notice that they were no longer here at all, did your schooling flex and change? See, I could have been somebody who worked there and I went to school and then I got a job there at the shelter and then, we had interns and everything, helping the residents to bathe and, to do their laundry and everything. And when their schooling programs changed and they seemed to disappear, and it was as if they never even worked here. So when I talked about this with some of the staff couldn't answer. They were like, have they even worked here at all? Okay, but this is very true. Okay, if I'm a person who worked there, did my schooling, did my past just flexed and changed? Like I went to this school, I took these classes, and then after the flex in time, was it as if I never took those classes and I took other classes? Okay, these things are happening though. It is very important to do things that are good for you, and reading stories online and talking about it is something good for you. It helps evil to fail. You may even want to consider story hour there at the shelter. Before bedtime, around, after dinner, in the day room. I mean, it's okay to have church people there to preach the gospel, but we can't read a story there. Is it okay if we just have a story hour right there? It should be okay, huh? Okay. All right, so, these are things to consider because these things actually do help evil to fail and such. Okay. So solving these mysteries is good for you, You also can consider the scenario that you may not need to prove that student interns used to come here for the intern shifts, and that it is very good to contact the schools and get an intern program here, whether we had one here or not. We did, but you may not need to prove it. Okay, so if a flex in time happened, the rascals may want to play a game. You need to prove they were here when a flex in time happened and it was as if they were never here. It could be you need to just meditate. I don't need to prove that they were here, but we need to get the show on the road and get an intern program here again. Okay? Because I myself need to preserve myself. I am less burdened with responsibility if the interns are here. Okay? Okay. It is very good for all of us anyway. So, all right. A shelter is an essential business. A shelter is not a merchandising business, but it is in fact a business and an essential business. We listen to turkeys in the heavenly plains speak bad words such as, it's not a business. If you don't have anything for sale, it's not a business. So these are turkeys who really are trying to undermine people into slavery and exploitation. Are the refugees themselves merchandise for sale? Or not? Okay? This is a norm of constant discouragement. It is very important to do things that are good for our minds, our hearts, our bodies, and our souls. A rascal in the heavenly spiritual or spiritual planes has a turkey stage, making mischief, hiding papers, deadlocking our lives, etc. The rascal also has a crane stage where the buildings and the various features of the building may have been altered. These are things such as bed numbers, file cabinets, access keys, hallways, and the positions of doors and drinking fountains, etc. Keep in mind, this is the same rascal with different categories he and or she has concerns. These are the same rascals with different general categories they have developed a hand in. Same rascal, different bird categories. Okay. It is also important to keep in mind that these bird species pertain to different general categories. People who are not rascals also have lifetimes as these bird species and develop a strength with these general categories. While we are deadlocked, we may have several lifetimes before this lifetime resumes. This can happen in a twinkling of an eye. I will be mailing copies of these letters to national leaders of countries, states, and provinces I mention in them. I will also be mailing copies of these letters to other local leaders and other national leaders. I will also be mailing copies of these letters to the producers and production companies of The Neverending Story, as well as other artists. Have you looked at your reflection in Lake Erie? Maybe the Refuge of Hope shelter will be in a movie someday. There's a smiley face. Okay, so I guess that's enough for today, and I'll send you some more videos another time.